Hello and welcome to Network 10's coverage of the 1985 World Cross Country Championship, which was conducted in the wee early hours of Monday morning. The World Cross Country has certainly grown from its modest beginning way back in 1903, and it's developed into one of the classic races in athletics. To give you an example, last year in New Jersey, the winner was the Olympic marathon champion. That was Carlos Lopez. In third placing was the man who broke the world record in the marathon, Steve Jones. In 11th placing, Alberto Kova, who is the Olympic 10,000 metres champion, and our own world marathon champion, Rob de Castella, was back in 21st placing. So it really is one of the great races in athletics. We had more than 290 starters in the men's event this year. Rob de Castella was heading a strong Australian challenge of 9 athletes. And let's now pick up the race, and your commentator is Ron Pickering.
Lisbon in Portugal plays host to the World Cross Country Championships for the second time. The first time back in 1958, under the rules laid down then by the International Cross Country Union. But since then, these championships have been fully adopted by the International Amateur Athletic Federation, and in 1973, they've grown and grown and grown since then. The teams gathering more than 50 of them. 330 athletes in the opening race. A carnival-like atmosphere. The Australians in their traditional green and yellow. Picnics on the sand. The temperature in the 60s. 10,000 people have turned up on this lovely day to see their team Portugal, who they believe may be good enough to take on the might of Ethiopia, who've won this championship for the last 4 years. 4 laps, making a total of 1,200 meters. That's 7.4 miles, and in the men's team event, 9 men run, 6 score for the team title. 330 athletes lining up, and all eyes will be on Portugal, because last year's winner was Carlos Lopez, now 38, in the twilight of a glittering career. Everyone here coming to see if their favourite can win. The white vests of England, the red and green of Kenya, Ethiopia green and red, the black of New Zealand, the blue tops of Finland, France in their red, white and blue. The massive runners going off at a fairly startling pace. David Clark, the tall English runner, cutting out the pace very early on. In front of the main grandstand. More than 300 runners, and the New Zealanders lost a shoe and stops to pick it up. The Americans in their silver. Pat Porter there. Ed Eyestone, their cross-country champion, just picking out familiar faces. Half a dozen of the past winners of this race are running today. The tail enders looking around, a little bit startled at the early pace. Kenya on the outside, England on the inside. Portugal's Mamidi, the world record holder for 10,000 meters, back at about 5th place, just behind Pat Porter of the United States of America. Then the first of the Ethiopians. The Ethiopians who came into the competition 4 years ago and have yet to be beaten. Since the English Cross-Country Union went international in 1903, the English team dominated these championships, but now that it's grown into a truly international affair since 1973, better and better teams are coming from all around the world. Few of these teams are packing at the moment. It really is an individual affair. It's gone off so fast that they're out there fighting for their lives. 4 or 5 Portuguese, remember, it has to be 6 to score. The Americans looking strong with the Ethiopians and the Kenyans, and they're the very strong teams. There's that natural barrier. Over the 2 bumps, man-made, so that this flat, specially prepared course has just enough to break the rhythm. And there's Fernande Mamidi leading from Kipchoech of Kenya. Pat Porter is there, Christoph Hurler. Hurler, the West German, fine 5,000-meter runner, tacking in to second place, being chased by the American Pat Porter. Ed Eyestone is with him too, the American cross-country champion. But the Ethiopian team, Lima, Debele, Germa, Gessa, Abibi, Woda Sadiq, Balcha, Kedia and Bulti. What a magnificent team to have, such strength in depth. One of the Algerian runners there, Nat Muir of Scotland with the white headband, Steve Jones of Wales, the red top and bottom, the world's fastest marathon runner. At the back of this pack at the moment, the world champion marathon runner, Di Costello from Australia. Superb conditions for a fast race. One of the largest crowds ever seen at a cross-country race, and all of Portugal hoping that their team can do well, or that the individual winner may be either Mamidi or Lopes. Mamidi is their cross-country champion. Lopes, 38 last month, the cagiest of all the world runners, and the winner of the Olympic marathon title, as well as the winner of this race last year in Meadowlands, New York. Little pack beginning to break away. A lot of Ethiopians there with the green tops and red shorts. Mamidi still up. Hurler going with him. Porter, the American. One of the Algerians. One of the Kenyans. Another American. Nat Muir of Scotland. Steve Jones of Wales. And they're fairly hurtling along. Can this be Mamidi's day? And they say who chokes in the big championships, leading the race at the moment, heartening the Portuguese who are watching. There's a mass of African runners up there, and it looks as though the Ethiopians are outgunning the Kenyans at the moment. The Kenyans with the red top, the Ethiopians with the green. Going back through the field. John Robson of Scotland. David Clark's dropped back. There's the Di Costello of Australia, right in the middle of the picture. Two Spaniards in front of him. Spain with a fine tradition of cross-country running. Still Mamidi leads. Porter, the American. 1:42 is Debele. 8th last year, but the winner in 1983. There's no let up. This field has been strung out now. Over 400 meters from front to back. A lot of people feel that this one West German, Christoph Hurler, with the broad red band across his chest and the West German vest, that he might do well on such a day. Their team not expected to do well. No sign of the traditional English pack. They're way back down the field, giving way to the United States of America, to Ethiopia, to Kenya at the moment, and to Portugal. Spaniards packing well. First sign of the Irish. John Tracy up there, closing on the leading pack. Twice a past winner. Coming up to 8 minutes. Two Kenyans on the right now. Kipchoech is there. Kipchoech. And this is a home-based Kenyan team, not the Kenyan athletes that are mostly at American colleges. The Kenyan authorities have said that's not doing much for Kenyan athletics. We really are going to pick home-based athletes, most of these runners coming from that very rich, fertile area, the Rift Valley. Still Mamidi gives heart to the Portuguese. And there's Lopes in the picture now. A little man, 5'6". White top, green shorts. Strolling along. And out they go on the start of the second lap. Coming up to 3 kilometers. Portuguese packing well. John Tracy at the back of the pack. couple of Spaniards in there with their red and yellow. Americans looking strong. There's 4 of their scorers up there. There's the deep for Australia. And a whole wave of athletes who are finding the pace up front pretty tough. China, Taipei here, Hong Kong here. Arab Republic of Yemen here. The richest international field ever gathered for cross-country. And their reputations at stake. And none more than the individual reputations of the Portuguese. Mamidi versus Lopes. Kipchoech, happy to take the pace out. That's Paul Kipchoech, the 21-year-old who's the winner of the East African Championships and who finished 5th in the Olympic Games over 5,000 meters. Only 19th in this race last year. Over that man-made hill again. John Tracy, the mudlark. There he is in white shorts and green top from Ireland. Twice a previous winner. He'll be watching Lopes. And already it seems certain that the individual winner will come from that leading pack. Masai and Marandi, the other 2 Kenyans, both from the Rift Valley. And the Kenyans haven't featured terribly well over recent years, but they love to do their front running, and they love to take on the Ethiopians, who come here as clear favourites to win the team title. Lopes has settled in, and suddenly Mamidi's gone back through that field. He's not in the leading pack, the world record holder at 10,000 metres. He's gone back, and Lopes has gone to the front. What's fascinating about this is that Mamidi won the Portuguese cross-country championships and Lopes was way back in the field, 51 seconds down. And everyone presumed that Mamidi was the man in form. But Lopes is the athlete that finds it on the day. And he's tucked in the middle there, the shortest of those men, running alongside John Tracy of Ireland, Porter of America, Kipchoech, and 3 Kenyan vests suddenly way up there. And tucked in are 3 Ethiopian vests. David Lewis of Rossendale in England is the only England runner. Difficult to distinguish because he's got red shorts on rather than white. But a white vest and red shorts. The winner of the English national cross-country title. There's a Frenchman up there, Levis, I think. And this leading pack is certainly getting away as they come up to 13 minutes. Cool breeze, but in the 60s the temperature, and it's a lovely, fast, flat course. The American Ed Eyestone wears 135, Pat Porter 137. Ed Eyestone born in Samoa, winner of the American trials at cross country, 6th in this race in 1984, versus Pat Porter, 3 times the American cross-country champion, who finished 15th in the Los Angeles Olympic Games at 10,000 meters. Lopes has taken up the running now from Porter of America. Hurler is still there of West Germany. De Bailey is with them. De Bailey is the leading Ethiopian, wearing 142, the 22-year-old, the winner in 83. Kipchoech, the leading Kenyan, and David Lewis of England, the first Englishman in sight, despite their past 43 wins of the team event. De Castello just separated from the leading pack, the Australian with the white top and the green shorts. 137, Pat Porter, USA. And this pack getting away, and De Castello can do little about it. There's a few well-known faces back here too that will be called upon to finish the race and make up the team score. Look at the Americans. They need those. They've got to have 6 to score. Now, at some stage, Carlos Lopes will have to break away because he hasn't got a sprint finish. And he was the master of this last year, getting away from Tim Hutchins of England, knowing that he didn't have a sprint finish, knowing that he's a better marathon runner. What he does is gradually pile on the pace, and he has to do that. I think he's looked around and seen that Mamidi is no longer with him. So it's not about Portugal winning the team title, it's about Lopes winning the individual title. But Germer it is that leads, the tiny Ethiopian, 24 years of age. Seen a lot of him running in Britain. Belcher is up there in second place for Ethiopia, and they're packing well. Looking good for their team title, but still being challenged by the Red Tops of Kenya. Kipchoech having a look around and chatting with his mates. There's Di Costello. Kipchoech going away a little bit. Kenyans packing. There's two more Kenyans in there. Steve Jones of Wales finding the pace very tough. So is David Clark of England. The Americans in there with their silver tops and bottoms.
Do you need a specialist fruiterer to help you choose the freshest fruit?
I don't.
Green and white of Ireland. Green and white of Portugal. The other way round. The white vest to Lopes. John Tracy, the green vest. Is this a break by the Ethiopians at 19 minutes? Or Kipchoech? Certainly the pace is staying remarkably fast. Lopes looking around. Tremendous anticipation in this crowd. They really have packed the area. It's been a whole day out for the family. They were promised exciting things from the Portuguese runners who've had a marvelous season on the track. And Lopes was the man who came home from the Los Angeles Olympic Games as their sole gold medalist, and what a reception he had. Mamidi was the man who failed in Los Angeles. They're all watching for this man. 38 just 2 weeks ago. Carlos Alberto de Jesus Lopes. One Spaniard in there. And there's Mamidi just breaking off the pack. 3:77. Fernando Mamidi. And he looks as though he's in trouble. Just can't keep with the pace at this moment. Hurler looking strong. David Lewis of England. Pat Porter of the United States. A little bit of ducking. Coaches lining the track and getting excited. 22 minutes of the race gone. And everybody expecting a break at any time. There are too many fast finishers in that leading pack. If they're still there with 400 meters to go, if they haven't had the energy sapped from their legs, if they haven't lost the sting, then anyone is vulnerable to a finishing burst. And they'll have to get rid of that speed out of the legs before then. Levis of France is the man with the beard in the red, white and blue. Lopes. Has he timed it well? He looks exceptionally comfortable. John Tracy just dropping back 1 or 2 places. Mamidi still at the back, 25 yards short of his compatriot. The African battle still on. To Bailey, 1:42. Kipchoech leading for Kenya. 1:47. There is Belcher. Di Costello. And it's Leitão of Portugal And there's Craig Virgin of the United States, twice a past winner. There really is a buzz of anticipation. We watch this leading pack coming out to 25 minutes. And suddenly the Ethiopians looking very strong. As far as the team's concerned, that's a lone Kenyan now. Ethiopia packing the better. John Tracy back on the pace. Just coming up with one more lap to go of 3,000 meters. And is this the surge that we've been waiting for? Lopes out in front with Kipchoech. And look how this field is spread now. Superb racing conditions. Tremendous excitement. Marvellous audience. And the largest international field ever gathered. Leitao Di Castello, Craig Virgin. Craig Virgin must be wondering what's happened to the pace too. Running for team places. There's the bulk of the Kenyan team back in the 30s and 40s. And it's hotting up front. Lopes, barrel-chested, easy arm action, nice easy knee pickup. It was about this stage in last year's race in New York, where he broke away from the field and only had Tim Hutchins of England with him and gradually wore him down. Just turned the screw. Never a burst of acceleration, just piling the pace on, and I think he's doing just that now. Certainly there are breaks occurring. David Lewis and Christoph Hurler trying to stay with the three Ethiopians, the one Kenyan and the Portuguese leader as he goes away. Just one lone Russian at the back of this pack. Shermakov, but the Russians have not sent a full team, just three individual runners. And what an experience they've had today. And Lopes is really piling it on, and they're getting away. David Lewis is unable to stay with them for England, and it's three Ethiopians, one Kenyan and one Portuguese. And the mudlark, John Tracy from Ireland. What a canny runner he is, Lopes. Superb track career, superb cross-country career. Says that he will certainly retire at the end of this season. His wife and two sons here to watch him, and half of Portugal, it seems, here to watch him, because he's really turning the screw now and getting away from them. Lopes pouring on the pace. The man who shares top billing in Portugal with Eusebio, their great soccer star. This is the man born in Viseu, a small northern town in Portugal, and how they would love him to win. He won the Olympic marathon at only his third attempt at the distance. What a hero's welcome he had when he returned. The winner of this title in 1976 and 1984, and he's been twice second. Ranked second in the world over 10,000 meters, only to his fellow countryman Mamidi. And Mamidi can't stay with this pace, and neither can the Ethiopians. The break is really on now. It's a tremendous run from Lopes. Extraordinary character. Less than a mile to go, and he really is pouring it on in the only way that he knows. Judged it to perfection, and he's not going to be overtaken now, I'm certain. Sapping the strength of all these fine runners. Kipchoech trying to make a run for the line. but really he's going away from them still. 6-7 meters, and the Ethiopians can do nothing about it. As a team, they're still packing well and look favourites to take the title. But Lopes is going to be the individual winner. He'll be the first man to win 3 individual titles since this race was adopted by the International Amateur Athletic Federation. And he really has been cheered all the way, and the gap is growing. Grandstand standing for him now. Carlos Lopes, a remarkable run. Bulti and DeBailey and Bulti are there. Kipchoech is there. John Tracy still in the hunt. Beast has dropped back. The Americans found this too tough. And the Swiss, and still the pace goes on. And Lopes must know that the race is his. And there'll be a great number in the race itself that will say that this is the rightful winner, the sentimental favourite of most of the cross-country fraternity. Going away now with Bulti in second place, and Bulti can do little about it except do his own battle with Paul Kipchoech of Kenya. "25 meters, the race is his. About 800 meters, he's looking around, knows that it must be his now. So what a year he's had. Won this title last year, then took up the marathon. Won a remarkable marathon in the Olympic Games in Los Angeles. 2 hours, 9 minutes and 6 seconds. 10 days after being knocked down by a car whilst out training, badly bruised. There's the 1, 2, 3. Lopes of Portugal, Bulti of Ethiopia, and Kipchoech of Kenya. The whole world of athletics will enjoy this victory. And it still looks as though it's a battle between Kenya and Ethiopia, although it does look as though the Ethiopians are packing a little better. 1:42 to Bailey. There's John Tracy getting away from Lima. There's Hurler of West Germany. And everyone can see him now. The crowd are rising to him. He can really drop back a gear if he wants. He's got plenty in hand as he approaches the finish line now. Carlos Lopes, a remarkable victory. 3 times he's won the race, none more important than this, the year that he's promised to retire. He certainly couldn't go out on a better note. It looks as though Kipchoech is going to win the battle for second place for Kenya. Lopes looking around. Into the gates. And up to the finish line. Kipchoech gets second. Bulti will be third. Coming up is DeBailey and John Tracy now. John Tracy up to the line. Bulti will be the next for Ethiopia. Hurler is there. Brunois is there. Levis of France. And Mamidi finishing in 11th place. But all eyes are on the winner, Carlos Lopes. Di Costello coming up to the line in 20th place for Australia. Then the Kenyans, 1 or 2 English vests around, but they've lost the team title. And whilst we're totting up the scores, it looks like a victory for Ethiopia. but it was certainly a victory for this man today. Carlos Alberto de Jesus Lopes wins his third international cross-country title. Confirmation of that result: Lopes of Portugal, Kipchoech of Kenya, Bulti of Ethiopia, followed by Bulti of Ethiopia, then John Tracy of Ireland, and the third Ethiopian was Bulcha. What a reception. The romantic victory. President Nebiola of the International Amateur Athletic Federation. Paul Kipchoech, who's run so well, the Kenya team have done well to push the Ethiopians all the way. And Wadajo Bulti of Ethiopia, their first scoring man. When it came to the team race, it was a much closely contested affair, much closer than anyone had imagined. Ethiopia and Kenya and the United States of America were doing battle because of the placings of their 5th and 6th runners. And it really took a computer to sort it all out. When it finally came out, there wasn't much in it. Ethiopia had won the team title from Kenya, 130 points to 141, with the United States of America third, 154 points.
And I think remarkable is a very good word for Carlos Lopes. It's interesting, the English call him Lopes, the Americans call him Lopes, and to the rest of the world he is Carlos Lopes. Certainly a magnificent athlete, a great run. Australia, a disappointing 9th. Rob de Castella finished 20th. Gary Briggs was 43rd. Graham Clues 61st. Andy Lloyd finished in the 90s. He was in fact 93rd. Steve Monaghitti 101st. And Gary